It is week 16 in the NFL. More importantly, it's Christmas. I hope Steve's been a good dude, good boy. Steve, you been good?
Very good, Chris. It's been a focus of the daily agenda.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. And I wish for a clean slate and a couple of backdoor covers. Maybe I'll get them. We'll see if Santa's listening. I think Vegas is listening. Vegas is always listening. Let's get after it.
How bad, very nice. Tell me please, what's the deal with this bad blood? It's getting hard to conceive.
Hey, y'all. I'm Chris Long. This is the Greenlight Gambling Show presented by DraftKings. And as always, I'm joined by Stanford Steve. Merry Christmas, my man.
Merry Christmas to you, sir. Hope all well amongst these times. And let's get some winners.
Let's get some winners. Last week, we had 2 winners apiece. I went 2-0-1.
Yeah, you beat me by a half point. We already know this.
And Steve went 2-1. But here's the thing. My gripe is that it just never should have. I mean, that was the cheapest cover. Actually, the Kansas City game is the one I'm talking about. Kansas City and New Orleans, the way they snuck back into that game and
that was gross.
it was really gross. You know what was really gross last night? As we record this thing to get it out of the way early in the week for people. Just, the lines will be reflective of that. It is currently Tuesday because we like Christmas and we want to get this out of the way. Last night, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, halftime, Steelers second half, -10, no-brainer to me. They come out, score a touchdown, they're in the red zone, they kick a field goal, okay, we'll be fine, it's the third quarter. Then I look away and Cincinnati scores. At least this thing's going to be a push, right? Well, here's what happened. The Steelers got stopped at the end of the game in their own territory, and the Bengals, with seconds to spare, I mean, like 10 less seconds on the clock, they're not kicking that field goal. They kick the field goal, and I lose my money. It was totally pointless.
Good thing you retired.
Yeah, if I retired from gambling, I said I did, that wouldn't have happened. So, as usual, Steve was right on the money with his college game of the week, taking Oregon over USC. You know, maybe I should start listening and cashing in. So, NFL Week 16, 3 picks a piece. Steve, why don't you go first?
I'm going to start right with that team you just mentioned. Steelers, it's about the spot. There's enough veteran leadership on this team. I understand what Ben looked like. I also understand that was the Bengals Super Bowl. When Bengals don't get a chance to play on Monday Night Football that often, I really think, they played into that. And the Steelers, it's funny, man. Like, you could prepare all you want and your coaches can remind you all the time about how you're going into a tough spot and you're going to face a hungry team. You're not ready until you get punched in the face, man. You're really not. And last night, I mean, I'll tell you, I give that a hell of a lot of credit, man. I know Finley didn't do great statistically, but man, that dude gave it his all. And if that's not good enough for some people, then I'm sorry, man. Like this, then don't watch the games. The guy, I mean, we really think their guys are out there, trying to lose when you're in a situation like that on national TV. Like that dude's running naked, keeps guys coming straight hill. That last third down where Minka's just come flying downhill, man. Like,
what a great tackle.
Game on the line.
Even Finley, who's not like the most athletic, that's a really hard tackle because Finley gave him the dead leg, and that's what everybody does to try to shorten the corner. He got the corner shortened, but then really Minka had himself in a little bit of a bind and was able to recover, knock the stiff arm down, and get him for a TFL. Yep. That was a great tackle.
Grab the arm for the TFL.
That's
things that happen in the games these days.
But that's just how fast people think on the field. I mean, it's always amazing how
especially
fast,
that dude.
Yeah, safety processes coming down into the box and making a tackle on something.
I thought the guys doing the game did a really good job at drawing that up too, where it looks like you should be given because of the overload, but you know how good. Like, there's how many guys in the league could do what Minka did on that play, line up where he is and go make the play.
Right.
Where there's like 2 I could think of.
It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of thinking. And the other question I'll give you is, was that PI late in the game on the Claypool?
Oh, it was terrible.
Such PI. I had people in my mentions telling me it wasn't. I was like, okay.
So Steelers, I think, like I said, there's enough veteran leadership in there where it's a short week. There's a holiday in the middle of this thing, and they know what they have to do to play better. Right. It's about executing. The offensive line really got eaten alive, and you don't see that often by that group, man. That's usually one of the most consistent groups in the league. It's all starts everything when the shotgun snap goes off to Castro.
Yeah.
And it's just a snowball. And, say what you want. They got back in the game and had a chance.
Yeah.
So how many other teams just fold right there? So I like the matchup for Pittsburgh here. I still think defensively they could keep Indy in front of them. I know Jonathan Taylor's been really, really good lately. And I think most of the teams that have him in fantasy are probably playing in their fantasy Super Bowl. But I would be scared if I had Jonathan Taylor this week. I think the Steelers win the game pretty convincingly.
Man, you know what? Probably it's compelling because I would think after they lost twice in 5 days, one to a Washington football team that was not being taken as seriously at that juncture, those were the punches in the face that they needed to wake up. But then the problem is they're sleepwalking through another two-win type team situation. I'm not saying that they've done a good job with this, but to your point, I think they have enough leadership to show up Sunday. What happens, I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that game. I was eyeing the total, but definitely going to be an entertaining and informative game.
It's a really, really interesting game. I trust the Steelers here in this spot, and I know people have said they trust them for the last 3 weeks, but I do here. Like,
the fourth week is the week to trust them. That's the way I think about it.
It's the roulette wheel. That's all it is.
Yep, exactly. I got a game that's going to flow quite opposite. Packers-Titans. I'm doing a couple totals this week. The number's at 56. Man, you could probably get this at like 57, 58 and still take the over. Listen, we talk about this a lot. Pace of play and being able to hang with offensive juggernauts like the Packers or the Chiefs. I like the Titans in those spots because if you watch them in the past, they've given up multiple scores. They found themselves down and they stick to their stuff, but they do it picking up big chunks on the ground and then the play action chunks as well. And they'll have these quick drives. So yes, they're a smash mouth team, but they can keep pace with Green Bay. And if you know Green Bay and you know me and my feelings about Green Bay and their defense, every time they've had to fight somebody, and I don't mean show up and play defense, fight somebody, they've gotten punched in the mouth. And that's been in recent history. It's been in the playoffs. San Francisco, everybody remembers Mostert running for 200+, but there was also a game earlier in the season. And then this year, Dalvin Cook and the Vikings, okay? Let's not forget, all the other times they've been kind of bullied around. They're not a team that has a lot on their resume this year, to be honest. Other than that Saints win, name another team that they've beaten that has a 500 record. It's not there unless I miscounted. So I really think this is the perfect barometer to see where the Packers are. I'll tell you one thing for sure. Tennessee's going to move the ball. And I think this game ends up being double 30s. Give me the over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not good. I'm playing against Aaron Rodgers in my fantasy Super Bowl.
I think he has a great day. The only thing that could threaten this, and maybe this is unwise to get the bet in on Tuesday, but is the weather. I don't know what it's like up in Wisconsin this week. Could be a snowstorm or wind that comes through, but I'm praying for 41 and nice on Sunday. And I think the over will hit. Who you got next?
I'm going to go with a game that absolutely means nothing. It's the Bengals. It's the Texans. This is a game where I think Deshaun Watson shines. They're not going to get as good an effort from Cincinnati as they saw. If there's any week of the season where Cincinnati might be like, you know what, man, we won last Monday. I'm gonna have an extra piece of turkey on Christmas or whatever people are eating on Christmas Eve, whatever. I just think it's a free for all.
Yep.
I still think the Bengals have a lot of talent on offense. I still think the Texans have a ton of talent on offense. I think they both dominate this game. Give me the over there with a number that seems low to me.
What you getting that number at?
46.
Oh boy. Yeah, I like that too. Look at you. I also, speaking of overs in games that traditionally, if you see Jets-Browns this late in the season, you're like, who's watching that game? But there are draft implications. There are
playoff
implications on one side of it. And there are Sam Darnold implications as well. What's he going to look like down the stretch? So I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I also think it's going to be relatively high scoring. the Browns impress me. You want to talk about like, okay, people have been impressed with the Browns because they lined up a big win and then a moral victory against the Ravens. Mm-hmm. Here's what made me feel good about the Browns. They showed up and took care of business in a game they should win after that draining ball game, and they took care of the Giants. I think this week the other team in New York scores more. I think the Browns win the game, but I'm looking at like 31-21. So give me the over. The number's right now at 47.
Okay. I'm going to go Saturday night. I think we differ on this one. I like the Raiders. I understand this is a big spot for the Dolphins. This is a Saturday night, 8:15. I think a ton of people are going to be watching this game. Whenever in the past, it feels like just here we go. Ready? The Raiders have Mariota come in and play, I thought, very well last week. And then, you see Carr earlier in the week. He's doing media, so that makes me think he's going to play. This line should be more. Miami's a playoff caliber team. The Raiders are officially eliminated, and they're only getting 3 points. This does not make any sense to me. So I'm going to take the Raiders in a spot where people might be watching Miami for the first time, and now the Raiders get their best guys back on defense with their best pass rushers. They get Abram on the back end that can help things. The Raiders are still pretty good against the run. The Dolphins aren't. I should say the Dolphins are still middle of the pack. With how good and flashy and how exotic they are defensively. They're still middle of the pack against the run. I think the Raiders can run the ball and muck it up a little bit. I think this is a weird line. I'm going to take the Raiders.
You know what? You scared me off that one, being the master of all things Dolphins. And listen, I never understand. Sometimes I'm learning this because gamblers will give you these truisms that in pro football that I never had to think about because I never gambled on pro football until I was retired, obviously. But I'm learning things like, division sandwich, like if there's two division games and in the middle there's somebody random from out of town, it's not going to go so well. Or like, you're bringing up a point, this line stinks, right?
Yeah.
But also, is this not the classic gotta have it game for Miami? They are backed into a corner. They're playing for their playoff lives.
And I'm scarred from the past, Chris, because in those spots, I've always taken a team where they are in a must-win situation. They got to have it. Yeah. And it's just like it always happens in this league to me. Right. It really does. And I'll tell you one thing. From now and next week, good luck to people bet. If you're going to bet multiple games in this league the next 2 weeks and be really confident, good luck.
Oh, man, that's not good news for some people who have had rough 1 through 14s and 1 through 15s.
No doubt. And you know what happens?
What?
The lines even look better this week and next week. Yeah, and shit just doesn't fucking make sense, man. Yeah. It does not make sense. Be careful. Hold on to your Christmas money. Hold on to it.
Let me tell you something that disregard that last thing. Don't just hammer anything we suggest. It's the best thing for your family. It's the best thing for Christmas. Just do it, okay? You need to treat yourself. You're getting socks for Christmas. If you're listening, treat yourself. Spend some
I want some of them slippers you got. Them fur ones?
The fur ones are dope. Those are Uggs. You got.
Are they?
You haven't discovered Uggs yet?
No.
Stanford Steve wants Uggs. Let me write a little note to Santa.
Size 13.
Okay. He's got the sizes ready. All right.
We'll take my address offline, okay?
We'll get you some Green Light Pod Uggs. All right. So here's something I do feel good about.
Okay.
Bills -7, giving a touchdown against the Patriots. It's not the same team. And I understand that earlier in the season it was ugly for the Bills, and maybe that was the if Cam doesn't fumble that football, they probably win that game. But at the same time, that felt like the hump that you had to get over for Buffalo. They got over that hump. It was not easy. That game was ugly. There was a lot about that with the weather that made it a quintessential spot for the Pats. That was a close game. The Bills have been playing lights out. You talked about getting linebackers back. They're playing better defensively. Josh Allen is trending up. These are important games for them. And guess what else? It's an important game for Brian Dable as well.
Who it is?
I like the Bills.
I have a problem. Not a problem. I have a possible concern for Bills fans out there, Chris.
Give me it.
Now, they're not going to remember this because they're still hammered celebrating from last Saturday.
Right.
And now it's a holiday week, and they're just going to drink all the way until this Monday night game against the Patriots.
Good for them.
But the team is rolling. And I am really, really, really worried that they are going to get the most hype and they are going to start getting all the Super Bowl predictions. And people are going to say, well, the Bills, they played Kansas City early in the year. And, it was just a couple turnovers. Give me the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Give me the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. I am really, because this thing is trending up fast.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah.
And, we talked about McDermott's got the defense going. Dable's, coaching for a head job, I would think, next year. And Josh Allen is just been Superman. I'm really, really worried, man, because we're going to go from not winning a playoff game and then it's just going to be Super Bowl. Like, come on.
This isn't the game I'm worried because there's such a big brother.
No, I'm not worried about this game either. I'm just worried about this upward trend that is like superhuman right now.
If there's one team I'm pulling for in the AFC outside of the Titans, because, I jumped on that bandwagon last year. I'm not getting off. Diana Rossini, she was on the bandwagon too, but she's been trying to kick me off so she can be king of the mountain, queen of the mountain. The same week I picked the Titans, she's giving me grief about them jumping off the bandwagon. I've literally picked them against the Colts. Listen, I'm not jumping off that bandwagon, but the Bills to win it all, that would be a dream. And we talked about this on the pod Sunday night.
All I want is Bills Browns. That's all I want.
With a Bills Packers Super Bowl. Just cheeseheads and people throwing people through tables. Viral videos only, of course, because there's going to be no festivities, but that would be a crazy Super Bowl.
That would be incredible. But no, I like how many times has a team, like, when's the last time a team in a division had a chance to just put one on them like this, knowing what's
and how many times have the Patriots ever played in a situation? I mean, when's the last time the Patriots were eliminated from the playoffs? And I'm not talking about the Matt Castle year where they were 11-5 and it was down to the wire. The last time they were like making vacation plans.
Probably 99, right?
Yeah, and a lot of these kids weren't born yet. That's my favorite phrase this time of year. When talking about the Bills, I had Zach Moss on. I looked up I looked up Zach Moss's the year he was born, and I was his age, that whole thing, and I was like, do I say it? Everybody says that when you have a guest on from the Bills now. It's like the chalkiest thing to say is, so I noticed you were born this year. How surreal is it? I mean, not even since you've been on. No, fuck no, I didn't say it. I got restrained.
There you go.
I got restrained. Any other podcast would have.
Look at you learning from other people, doing some more spots, getting the name out there. All right. Turn the worm in 21.
Yeah, 21 is going to be a good year. It's just the Patriots aren't used to this spot. So let's do college game of the week.
All right. I have a team that's kind of like in the Steelers spot where really bad taste in their mouth, but then they're playing a team that has another really bad taste in their mouth. It's Marshall. It's Buffalo. It is the Camellia Bowl. It is Friday, Christmas Day, Chris.
Love that bowl.
Listen, Buffalo ran for all kinds of records this year, and then they again had a brutal loss in the MAC championship game. Marshall ended the season with a loss to Rice and getting shut out at home, and then they go and lose in their Conference USA title game at home to UAB. I did not like what I saw from Marshall at all. Their quarterback started the game 0 for 11, and I just feel like Buffalo's in a great spot. Their coach was rumored to go to Illinois possibly. Yeah. He's staying. Yeah. Give me Buffalo minus the points here in the Camellia Bowl.
I love Buffalo because I remember the time that kid ran for, I think it was 0.23 miles with football pads on that one day against that unfortunate team on the other side of things.
Jarrett Patterson. Holy shit. Against Kent State.
Oh, the Julian Edelmans, the fighting Julian Edelmans.
Yeah. Buffalo. Give me that.
Buffalo. Well, they just drug them. So I like that. I'll listen to you this week. So it's probably bad news for you.
Yeah, that's all right. We got to fend you off.
Yeah, let's do joint bank account. No, at least it's not Mush Macon, my co-host here.
Oh, yeah.
He just, you know what?
Does he just take 3 weeks off around Christmas?
You know what? You know what's funny about Macon? No, but he asked for a hard out tomorrow by 2:30 p.m. He's got no kids. I'm like, what do you got to do? So listen, Macon, we started doing these Sunday pick'ems, the entire slate, which it's the only podcast in America that does that, and then posts a graphic with our winners. Only podcast in America that does that. Exclusive. He went his first week, 1 win, 11 losses. That's really hard to do.
Wow.
But I'll tell you what, he's been kicking my ass on Thursday night. Do you know about our Thursday night time machine situation?
Yes.
I got to go to the Waffle House, all that. Yeah. So to be fair to him, he's not a Sunday guy. He's just a Thursday guy. Shout out to Make. Joint bank account. Steve, start with leg one.
Ooh, let's go. It's got to be a money line. We got to get this thing cranked.
Right, that's what I'm doing. I'm going Jags money line, okay?
Oh, love it.
I'm going Jags money line. They're going to do the thing that all the Jags fans don't want to happen. They're going to win this weekend. You can't stop Minshew mania. The Bears are bound to come back down to earth offensively a little bit, even against a team as bad as the Jags. Give me the Jags to win, and you're going to have incredible, like, plus 300-something odds on that one.
Yeah, let's go Liberty money line against Coastal Carolina.
The Cure Bowl. Hey, audition for old Hugh Freeze. Is that does that matter? Do you think he's gonna?
No, I don't think it matters. I think. I mean,
Coastal wants to win a bowl game just as bad as Hugh Freeze.
Yes.
That's a low key great game.
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to play. This is the game that was supposed to happen when Liberty got COVID and BYU came to play Coastal. This was supposed to happen.
This is amazing. I can't wait for this game.
Malik Willis, Liberty quarterback, really good player.
Yeah. We know all about those guys here around these parts. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. So yeah, pretty good. I'm going to be watching that one. So I got the Jags. You have Liberty. And as a guest picker this week, Santa Claus, who is a real person.
Beautiful.
So Santa,
you'll finally get your kids to watch a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like, Dad, it was gambling.
Merry Christmas. I am taking Colorado to beat Texas straight up. The money line is 295. The odds of this joint bank account hitting are 48-1. Invest in coal.
All right, cool. That'll do it. Check out the regular Greenlight podcast as well. We had a really good pod earlier this week, and I want to plug it real quick. Giovanni, who's a buddy of mine, 13 years old, deals with a rare condition, got a lot of surgeries coming up, big Eagles fan, got an awesome podcast, and it's called Philly Sports with Giovanni, and it's on Eagles Brawl. But anyways, this week we did kind of a fundraiser GoFundMe thing for him. And you can check that out on Wednesday. It's got all his GoFundMe information there. You can find Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, Zach Moss, Zach Ertz, Johnny Hecker, the whole gang. Ryan Kerrigan stopped by. So it was a really star-studded pod, and they showed up for Gio. So check that out and help make your kids Christmas. Maybe take a couple dollars off of Jags money line and put it in Gio's GoFundMe, please. Thank you. I've said my piece. So there's the plug on that pod. And for everybody else listening and for Steve, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we will see y'all next week.